Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to talk a little brief history of beer right now. So beer's been bringing us together for thousands of years. Like any historical account, it does have changing perspectives, different ideas. So today we're going to go through a few facts as well as some commonly accepted stories. So beer has and will continue to change the world. But how did it start? So about 12,000 years ago, back in the early cultivation society, somebody went out, got some grain, forgot about it outside, it rained, and then the sun came out, kind of like Central Oregon weather, and it fermented. This person was like, well, let's try it. He tried it, and huzzah, it was beer, had to do it again. Ancient civilizations also loved themselves some beer. So about 4,000 years ago, there were these stone tablets, the Ninkasi. Ninkasi is a Sumarian goddess. On these tablets are also directions to make beer. So we're going to fast forward about a couple thousand years to the Picts. They took their beer very seriously, drinking it out of horns, sometimes on horses simultaneously. The last Pict king actually would not give up his secret to his heather ale, and because of it, his son died. So there were invasions. The Romans came, the Romans left. By about the 5th century or so, the Middle Asians came in, and it was about a 1,000-year period where a lot happened, and a lot happened with beer too. Women were brewers. They were home brewing. It was a safer alternative to that brackish medieval water, and also an extra source of income. Monks also started brewing by around the 8th century, also a little extra cash as well as to help them pay taxes. Over in Germany, they were brewing, fermenting beer in cool limestone caves, which created a lager yeast strain by the 16th century. So at around 1000 AD, hops became steadily on the scene. Now, do you guys love hops? Am I alone up here? Some hops. Hops are wonderful antioxidants as well as natural preservatives. So throw in some extra hops, the beer stays a little bit longer. In 1516, Germany decided to legalize it with the Reinheitsgebot. It is the first consumer protection law. It said that you can only have 3 ingredients in beer: barley, hops, and water. A couple hundred years later, Louis Pasteur discovered that 4th magical ingredient, yeast. So when America was being colonized in the 1600s, we were brewing beer back then. The Virginian colonists were brewing beer out of corn. The famous story goes that the Mayflower stopped in 1620 because the Pilgrims ran out of beer. Yes. Our forefathers were brewing. George Washington created a recipe that had some molasses and bran on it. Thomas Jefferson, at his country home in Monticello, put in a beer cellar. So here are some bullet points of some famous breweries. The oldest operating brewery in the world, Weinheitsstefan in Germany, started in 1040. Oldest operating brewery in the U.S. is 1829 Yingling over in Pennsylvania. Woo! They're having a good time, right? They're celebrating love. One of my favorite things to celebrate with a beer too. Oktoberfest actually started in 1810. It was a celebration between the marriage of Prince Ludwig and Princess Teresa. They had such a good time, they decided to do it again. But the journey of beer has not been all about love and rainbows. There have been challenges such as Prohibition. Prohibition, though, was repealed in 1933. Nobody was really paying attention to it anyway. But the legislation forgot to legalize homebrewing. So a handful of decades later, in 1978, Jimmy Carter legalized homebrewing on a federal level. So a bunch of organizations started to pop up to guide and protect this industry, such as the Brewers Association. They have a grand festival to celebrate beer culture. Started in 1982, the Great American Beer Fest. You can do things like wear a pretzel necklace and catch up with old friends, make new ones, like we do here in Central Oregon every day. We have such a beautiful beer city. It started with Deschutes Brewery in 1988. So, all this history and all this future of beer collapse into those really special moments where we sit down and have a pint with somebody. Those special moments like the first time I had a beer with my dad. So thank you guys. Thank you for all that you do, and wish you the best in all of your future adventures.